I was going to film the introduction for this outside, but as I was setting up the camera, it started to rain, so I came inside. This is a speech that I've written for Toastmasters. And the rules of the speech means that it had to be 5 to 7 minutes in length. And what it was the stages of technology and how it's implemented. And so some of it is about riding the wave, some of it is about just getting out of the way. And we also talk a little bit about what type of technology is on the horizon that's going to be implemented. And I thought I'd share this with you. So here we are, a speech on the stages of technology adoption.
It is hard to believe that 1997 was over 20 years ago. In that spring, I got a new job and making okay money, so that summer I decided to buy a new computer. I bought my first Pentium computer and I retired my 386. When I went to pick it up, the company asked me if I wanted to sign up for the internet. I knew about the internet, but I couldn't figure out why I needed it. So they asked me if I wanted to sign up for the internet. I said no. I lived all my life without it. Why do I need it now? I am fascinated with how people make money online. Some of the people that I follow started making money online in the mid-90s. I find their stories fascinating. How did these people have the awareness to set up the first online stores, or to set up and register domains like IBM.com, and then call IBM up and say, "You will want this domain for your company, and you will pay me $1 million for that name"? What made them so aware? How did they know this was a long-term trend and not a short-term fad? Before that, I used to hear people say, if I knew that Apple and Microsoft would have been so successful, I would have bought their stock in the early 80s, and I would have retired a millionaire by now. But how do you know when something's going to be successful? Companies are hard to pick, but trends are easier to spot. There are 5 stages of technology adoption: inventors, early adapters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. And I'm going to give you an example of how I saw this unfold in the cell phone industry. I remember watching a news documentary about this guy walking around New York City with a cell phone as big as a briefcase, trying to see what coverage he can get. From what I can remember, he had good coverage except underground. It didn't work in the subway. These were the early innovators. In 1988, I worked in a factory in St. Thomas that was making power supplies for Bell Canada, because Bell was installing cell towers along the 401. At this point, cell phones were not just for large cities anymore. This was the late innovator stage. In 1994, a friend of mine bought a cell phone. He was the first guy that I knew that owned a cell phone. I don't know why he needed it, but he got one. He was an early adopter. I got my first cell phone in 2005. My company was still using pagers, and I needed to have a cell phone with me. That would be late, early majority phase. In 2006, the company issued cell phones, and in 2008, we all switched over to Blackberries. That was a time of the late majority, where everyone got a phone. In 2012 is when my mother got her first flip phone, because she thought she should have one while she's in the car. She was a laggard. As time goes on, opportunities went from being from once in a lifetime to once in a decade to once in a year. The rate of change happening now is speeding up, not slowing down. The few revolutionary technologies are like the internet of the 1997 that are going on right now, but will one day be like the internet of 2019. I'm going to give you some examples. There's a lot happening in the Bitcoin and blockchain space, and it is still expanding fast. We are in the late early adopter stage right now. It is ready to go mainstream, but is looking for an excuse. It is like the internet of 1997. You know it's around you, but you don't know why you need it. Once the why becomes apparent, that is when it will go into the early majority phase. Currently, the blockchain space needs some regulation to clean up the Wild West aspect of it and legitimize it. Also, the user experience needs to be easier. It is amazing to see what has happened in this space. 20 years from now, blockchain technology will be behind most of the online software, and we won't even know it. Another one is driverless or autonomous cars. Currently, they are in the novelty experimental stage, but we're going to see this technology roll out in stages. You can currently get a driver-assisted car that drives, detects all objects around it, and even parks itself. The next stage is when it can do everything, but you have to be awake and aware in case you need to take over. 20 years from now, you'll be able to buy a car without a steering wheel, and in 10 years, all professional driving jobs will be phased out. The society norms, laws, uneducated jobs are coming to an end, and we're not ready for what's about to come. Another tech to look out for are flying drones. They will be everywhere, doing everything. From delivering boxes, to constant government surveillance, to flying personal devices, they are all coming, and they are coming fast. My understanding of drone technology is that it could be rolled out today, but it can't because of local laws. I saw a video of a pizza being delivered by drone. The guy put a pizza in a box, attached a drone to it, and it flew out the front door to the customer, who met the drone on the roof of an apartment building. I think it was in Italy. Amazon's been doing testing in BC for years because most states and provinces won't let them. When they hear like a major company like Amazon is offering same-day drone service within, say, a city like New York, the early adopter stage is only a year away. Like I said in the beginning, the internet story just stayed in my mind as an opportunity missed, but a lesson learned. There are many more amazing things coming our way, if you're aware of them. The new wave of technology will be washing upon us, and it will be breathtaking. In the fall of '97, I bought another computer, and I did sign up for the internet this time, and I don't know how I ever lived without it. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Today's generation has no idea what life was like before the internet, before the cell phone, before debit. Technology has made our lives easier, but has left us more vulnerable. If something decides not to work, we are just not ready to go backwards.